Alright, so today we're doing a gentle, heart-opening, loving-kindness, gentle yoga class. And if you're joining for the recording, I'm going to have you grab 2 pillows and 2 yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can use little cushions instead. So I'm actually going to have us start in kind of an open-hearted variation of a savasana by taking your pillows and stacking them on top of one another behind you. And you can do whatever you want with your legs. You can have your legs straight, you can have your knees out wide, soles of the feet together for a Baddha Konasana shape, or you can have your knees knocked together. And the goal is to just get as comfortable here as possible. Let your arms splay out wide to the sides. If you need more support for your head, feel free to grab an extra pillow for your head. And let's take a deep breath all together here. So exhale, empty out your lungs for a moment. And take a really nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. Let your eyelids soften a little bit more. If your eyes are open, see if you can let them softly close. And give yourself complete permission to just soften into this shape. Let your arms just hang out wide by your sides, front of the chest and shoulders open. Let your jaw relax. You can let your teeth separate a little bit and let your tongue soften away from the roof of your mouth. And as you take another easy breath on your own, see if you can be completely okay with whatever experience you're having right this moment. Regardless of whether your mind is bouncing all over the place or maybe your mind is clear, it doesn't matter. Regardless of whether you're tired or energized, it doesn't matter. If you're feeling emotional or if you're feeling numb, it doesn't matter. Just let yourself fully embrace whatever experience you're having right now, even if you don't like this experience. Let's take a breath all together again. So exhale, empty out your lungs. And take a really nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. Now we're going to do a loving kindness meditation for a few minutes. So take a moment to think of somebody in your life that you absolutely love unconditionally. When you think of them, your heart swells with affection. And once you've thought of that person, even if you didn't actually feel a sensation of affection for that person, just keep them in your mind for a moment as you imagine wishing them really well. And if it works for you, you can repeat a phrase like, may you be happy, may you be free. But what works for me is just really imagining them having everything that they need, imagining them being so happy, imagining them being so healthy. Really just wish them so well. Take another deep breath with that in mind. then think of somebody who maybe you don't know their name, but you interact with them on a pretty consistent basis. Maybe it's the person that rings you up at the store. And call to mind the image of that person. And even though you don't know them super well, see if you can wish them well also, the same way you did with that person that you really love. Imagine them being really happy, imagine them being really healthy, having everything that they need. And take another deep breath, wishing them well. And this one can be a little bit trickier to do. Now call to mind somebody that maybe you don't like them. Maybe they've rubbed you the wrong way. Maybe they've annoyed you recently. Maybe they've done wrong by you in the past at one point. And imagine that person for a moment and see if you can wish them well too. The same way you did with your loved one and your acquaintance. And notice if your jaw clenched, see if you can soften your jaw again. Notice if your breath got shallow, see if you can smooth your breath out just a little bit. And take another moment to imagine wishing them well. And then last but not least, picture yourself. And just like you wished your loved one, your acquaintance, your not so loved one, just how you wish them well, see if you can wish well upon yourself, wellness upon yourself. Imagine that you have everything that you need, that you're happy, healthy. And take 3 more really easy, nice breaths with that in mind. Jaw is still soft. Your breath is still smooth. And let's take a breath all together. So exhale, empty out your lungs. Take a really nice inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. And then when you're ready, you can sweep your arms out wide up and then over your head. Let them hang towards the ground above your head and take a couple deep breaths, just letting your shoulders open up. And you're still lying on your pillows. Take one more deep breath right there. And then take your time to roll onto one side and make your way up to a comfortable seat. There's no rush. And once you're seated upright, bring the soles of your feet together. And if this is hard to do, if it's like you're falling backwards or you're having a hard time sitting upright, you can take those pillows and sit up on them if you need to. And we're going to spend about a minute in a seated Baddha Konasana. So this might be enough. You might just drop your head, and that's totally fine. Or you might start to walk your hands forward and fold as far as is comfortable. Let your head drop. We'll spend about 1 minute here. And even as you do this, see if you can continue to wish yourself well. Sending yourself so much love. so much care. And see if you can do this in a way that feels genuine to you. Maybe you can relax the back of your neck just a little bit more. Maybe you can soften your eyelids and your jaw just a little bit more. And take a few more really sweet breaths. Let's take another breath together. Exhale, empty out your lungs. And take a really nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. And then really nice and slow, start to unfold your upper body. If you still have pillows on your mat, you're welcome to move them off to the side. And make your way to a standing forward bend. Again, there's no rush. You're welcome to soften your knees as much as you need to. If it's hard to reach for the floor and if you feel tension in your back, either bend your knees more or you can even put blocks underneath your hands. Totally fine to use that support. Again, knees soft, spine soft, head relaxed. Take 5 deep breaths here. Imagine with every exhale you could let your spine decompress just a little bit more. One more deep breath. And then when you're ready, slowly make your way down to your hands and knees. We'll do a little bit of movement with the spine, cat-cows. So as you inhale, let your belly button drop, let your collarbone spread wide, and then lift your chin. And then exhale, pull your low belly in, press through the floor with your hands, and relax the back of your neck, drop your head. And then inhale, drop your belly, collarbones wide, lift your chin. And then exhale, pull your low belly in, drop your head, relax the back of your neck. And do that a few more times on your own, no rush. And then nice and slow, start to make your way back to sitting on your heels if that's available for you. If that's uncomfortable at all, you can take a couple yoga blocks or maybe one yoga block and put them between your feet and sit up on them. That's totally fine. If that's still completely uncomfortable, you can sit cross-legged, also fine. If you need to roll up a blanket underneath your ankles, that's also a great option. And then take your left hand to the ground to your left and sweep your right arm out, up, and over for a side bend. And think about breathing really nice and easy through that right rib cage and right waistband. Imagine expanding your rib cage with every inhale. And take another easy breath in. And then exhale, dive down towards your knees and make your way over to the other side. You can even make like a rainbow with your hands as you take your right hand to the right, left arm up and over. Breathe nice and easy through your left rib cage, left waistband. Take one more easy breath in. And then exhale, dive down towards your knees and make your way to a child's pose for a moment. You can rest your forehead either on the ground, or sometimes I like to make a pillow with my hands. You can also even put a block or a cushion underneath your forehead. And take 5 really sweet breaths here as well. And the cool thing about this posture is it helps to slow down your heart rate. It helps to soothe your nervous system. Child's pose is kind of like pressing a reset button for your body. And let's take another full breath together. Exhale, empty out your lungs. Take a really nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. And then stretch your arms long out in front of you. Make your way to a downward facing dog. Tuck your toes. Press through your hands and feet to lift up into that upside down V shape. And you're welcome to wiggle around if that helps you to kind of get into this shape a little bit easier. You could bend one knee, bend the other knee. You could sway your hips from side to side. Make sure your head and neck are really loose. And then once you've wiggled around a little bit, we'll find just a little bit more alignment here. Think about scooping your elbows. Rather than bending your elbows out wide, scoop your elbows in and forward so your arms get a little straighter. And then pull the front of your ribs in and extend through your shoulders as you drop your chest a little bit towards your toes. And then think about sticking your tailbone up towards the ceiling, and if you need to bend your knees to do that, that's fine. And take another deep breath. And then lift your right leg up and back, bend your knee, open your hip, and make big circles with your right knee. If this is hard, you can always drop your left knee to the ground and do the same thing. And then step your right foot through between your hands. If it doesn't make it there on the first try, you can use your right hand to pick your right foot up and step it forward. Drop your back knee to the ground. And then take your hands onto your front thigh for a moment. So we're going to do a little bit of a back bend from here, but I don't want it to come from the lower back. I want it to come from the upper back. So to ensure that the lower back is long, push your hands into your front thigh and pull your low belly in. You should feel lengthening through the front of that left hip. And then keeping your low belly pulled in, then reach your arms up high and reach your arms up and back. You might even also lift your chin. And if your back knee hurts on the ground, you can always pad it with a blanket or a pillow, or fold up your yoga mat a little bit. And again, think about reaching up and back through your arms. Take another easy breath in. And exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. Open your collarbones wide and see if you can keep them open as you twist to the right, hooking your elbow to the outside of your knee. If this is too deep of a twist for you and it's hard to get your elbow to your knee, you can put your right hand onto your thigh and left hand on the ground and twist from there instead. If it feels okay for your neck to look up towards the ceiling, you can deepen the twist by looking up. Optional if you want a little bit more vigor in the pose, you can tuck your back toes and lift your back knee, totally optional. And then gently unwind, plant your hands to the ground, step forward to a standing forward bend again. And notice if you feel any difference between one side of your body and the other. It might be subtle, it might be obvious. And take 5 more breaths in this forward bend with the back of your neck relaxed. Gently plant your palms down. You can bend your knees if you need to do that. Step back, downward facing dog. And then inhale, shoulders over your wrists for a plank pose. Pull your low belly in. Lean forward over your fingertips, and on the count of slow, lower down. And once you're on your belly, bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Yeah, Sphinx pose. Think collarbones wide, front of the chest open. Try not to let the bend come just from your lower back. If you do feel like your lower back is crunching, you can kind of pull your low belly in, squeeze your butt, and then think about puffing the front of your chest up a little bit more. Take 5 more full breaths here. You should feel like it's mostly bending your mid-back. Do just a little bit of core work here because it's so good for the health of your spine and your body. So we'll take an inhale in the heart opener, and then exhale, pull your ribs in and see if maybe you can lift your hips up off the ground. Yeah, and then drop your hips, open your chest, collarbones wide. And pull your ribs in, lift your hips. Inhale, collarbones wide. Exhale, pull your ribs in, lift your hips. But do that a couple more times on your own. And then walk your hands back underneath your shoulders as if you're going to do a push-up. But we're not going to do a push-up, but rather we're going to use our back muscles to lift up to a cobra and then lower back down. So we're going to do 5 of these arch-ups. Think about it coming from your back muscles and less from your hands. So if your arms are getting tired, that means you're using your arms too much. You're going to use your back muscles more than your arms. And just like we strengthen the front of the core, we also need to strengthen the back side of the body. Couple more. Good. And then press back to your hands and knees, but this time keep your hands far forward, but bring your hips back over your knees and drop your chest for an extended puppy dog pose. If you can, you might rest your chin on the floor, or you might rest your forehead on the ground, or your forehead might just dangle off the floor depending on how tight your shoulders and back are. Yeah, and imagine that someday you could get your throat to touch the ground. One more easy breath. And then press into your hands, pull your ribs in to lift yourself back up, and find a downward facing dog. You might need to walk your feet forward a little bit, lift your hips. And take 3 deep breaths. And then on your next inhale, lift your left leg up and back, bend your knee, open your hip, and move your leg around in circles. And then step that left foot through between your hands. If it doesn't make it, you can pick it up, walk it forward, drop your back knee down, and then climb your hands onto your front thigh. Again, we're going to get rid of the lower back arch, so think push your hands into your front thigh to pull your ribs in and hollow, and keep your core engaged, keep your lower belly pulled in as you stretch your arms up high. Yeah, and you can even squeeze your right butt cheek to help make that happen. And think about reaching your arms up and back and maybe even lift your chin. If you want a little bit more depth in the lunge, you could bend that front knee a little bit deeper. And take 3 more deep breaths. One more easy inhale. And then exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart. And think inhale, collarbones wide, and exhale, twist to your left, hooking your elbow to the outside of your knee. Again, if this is too deep of a twist for you today, you can take your left hand to your thigh and right hand to the ground and twist from there. And if you're feeling energized and you want a little more, you could tuck your back toes and squeeze your back knee straight. Take a couple more easy breaths. Good. And then gently unwind and step forward to a standing forward bend. And let your upper body hang heavy. Let's take yet another breath together. So exhale, empty out your lungs. Take a nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. And then step back, plank pose. You can take your feet back, hands under shoulders. Inhale, lean forward over your fingertips, and exhale, lower either halfway through for a chaturanga or all the way down to your belly. And then untuck your toes and inhale either all the way up to straight arms for an upward facing dog, or find that baby cobra arch up that we did before. And then exhale, fold back. You can roll over your knees if you need to step back, downward facing dog. And drop your knees to the ground. We'll do another set of that extended puppy dog pose that we did before. Hands as far forward as you can without bringing your hips with you, and then drop your chest towards the floor. 5 deep breaths. And then gently press into your hands to lift your chest back up. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. Press back to your hands and knees. Good. Yeah, so from hands and knees, we'll do a little twist from here. So inhale, take your right arm out to the right. And exhale, thread your right arm underneath and through, resting your right shoulder on the ground for a thread the needle. If it's hard to get your head on the floor, or if this is uncomfortable and it's hard to get your shoulder on the floor, you can take a whole pillow and put your shoulder and head on a pillow for support if needed. If you feel like you could go a little farther, you can press your left hand into the ground to twist your chest up towards the ceiling, and maybe even stretch your left arm up, and then maybe also left arm behind your back for a half bind. Take one more easy breath. And then press your left hand back down, unwind your upper body. And then we'll inhale, left arm out to the left, and exhale, thread left arm through, resting shoulder, resting left ear on the ground. Again, feel free to grab a whole pillow and put your shoulder and ear on it if needed. If you want more, you can press your right hand down into the ground and twist your chest towards the ceiling, and you're welcome to fly that right arm up or drop it behind your back. And these are all options you're welcome to take or not take, depending on how your body feels today. One more deep breath. And then gently unwind, plant your right hand back down. And press back to a downward facing dog again. And then inhale, lift your right leg up and back again. And exhale, step your right foot all the way through between your hands. This time, rotate your back heel down to the ground, and then walk both hands in between your legs for a wide-legged forward bend. And let your upper body hang heavy. Take 5 deep breaths. And then we'll add a little twist from here. So take your left hand to the ground as if it's just underneath your heart, and then reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And notice if that right hip tried to come up with you, so you can keep that right hip down and twist your lower ribs and chest up towards the ceiling. And then other side, take your right hand down, left arm up. Again, notice if that left hip tried to come with you, see if you can drop that left hip down. Good. And then gently lower that left hand back down again. Option to just stay right here if this isn't enough for you, or we're gonna do a little half squat on either side. So first side, you can drop your right hip towards your right heel and then turn your left toes up. You can also walk your hands with you if needed. It's okay if your right heel has to come off the ground. And it's also okay if your hip doesn't make it all the way down there. And then we'll try the other side. So we'll walk back towards your left foot and then squat down on your left heel, turning your right toes up. Yeah, good. And then go back and forth a couple times. And use your hands on the ground as much as you need to. And if you need blocks, feel free to put blocks underneath your hands, and you can kind of like take your blocks with you as you transition if needed. Nice. And then come back to both legs straight. Take your hands to your waist, lift your chin, come all the way up to standing. And then turn your right toes forward again. Reach your arms out wide to the sides. Inhale, reach your right arm as far forward as you can, and then exhale, right hand down, left arm up. And notice if your top hip tried to drop down. See if you can stack that left hip on top of your right, reaching left arm up towards the ceiling. And pull your low belly in, try not to arch your lower back. One more deep breath. And then exhale, standing forward bend. You can make your way to hands at the front of your mat, lean forward and step your back foot forward again. Upper body hangs heavy. Take 5 more breaths in that forward bend. Yeah, so go ahead and let your upper body hang heavy. And then last little vinyasa here, step your feet back, plank pose. Lean forward over your fingertips, exhale, lower slow, either through a chaturanga or all the way down to your belly. And then inhale, open your chest, either baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, fold back, downward facing dog. And then inhale, left leg up and back. And exhale, step your left foot through between your hands, rotate your back heel down, and then turn to your right for a wide-legged forward bend again, letting your upper body hang heavy. And since we've been here before, maybe it feels good to let your upper body soften down even a little bit more. Option to again stay right here, or you can do another half squat on either side, bending one knee, and then bending the other knee, walking with, you can take your hands with you, take your blocks with you if you're using them. This is just a little hip opener, leg strengthener. Good. And then straighten your legs again. Take your hands to your waist, inhale, lift your chin, come all the way up to standing. Turn your left toes forward this time. And then arms out wide, inhale, reach your left arm as far forward to the left as you can, and then exhale, left hand down, right arm up. And again, notice if your top hip is dropping forward or if your lower back is arching, see if you can stack your top hip and pull your low belly in. Take one more easy breath in. And then exhale, standing forward bend at the front of your mat. You can take both hands down, lean forward, step forward. Good. And then slowly make your way all the way down to sitting. We'll do another variation of a hip opener here. This is Tarasana. So instead of Baddha Konasana where the feet are really close to the hips, we're doing Tarasana where the feet are a little farther away and you're making like a diamond shape with your legs. Feel free, if you need to sit up on a block or pillow, go for it. If this is feeling okay for your hips, you might drop your head and walk your hands a little farther. Someday your forehead might rest on your feet. And we'll spend about a minute here. Get cozy again. And what I mean by get cozy is just do whatever you need to do to feel comfortable enough to stay here for the next remainder of this minute. Soften your jaw, take another deep breath. Good, and then nice and slow, start to unfold your upper body. And grab your pillows again. And you can put them next to one hip and then take your feet around to your opposite hip. So we're preparing for a restorative forward-facing twist. Those of you who've taken my restorative yoga class a bunch already know this pose. It's one of my favorite twists. So the pillows are up against your hip, your feet are curled around away from the pillow, and then take both hands, one to either side of your pillow. And then inhale, lift your ribs up and over it, and exhale, lay your heart down. And this should feel cozy and comfortable. If it's uncomfortable at all, you can take something between your knees for extra support. Or if you want a deeper twist, you can turn your head away from your knees. Or you can even take an extra cushion underneath your bottom knee for more of a twist. And sometimes it's nice to kind of hug the top of your pillows, or maybe you're using a bolster. Sometimes it's nice to hug the top of your bolster. And take a moment to close your eyes again. Notice what you're thinking about right this moment. And take a moment to revisit that loving kindness meditation we did earlier. And imagine wishing yourself well again. You can also reassure yourself that you are taking care of you right this moment. By being in this class, by laying on this pillow, you're taking care of your nervous system. You're twisting your spine, which is so good for your spine. So take a few more really nice breaths as you allow yourself to soften into this pose a little bit more. Just about one more minute here. If your mind got really busy, see if you can allow your next breath to be a little bit smoother. And let's take another breath all together here. So exhale, empty out your lungs. And take a nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. And then nice and slow, start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. And slowly sit yourself back up. And to make your way to the other side, you can just turn around so that your opposite hip is facing your pillow. If you used a cushion on the other side, you can bring it back over. Take one hand to either side of your pillows. Inhale, lift your ribs up and over it, and then exhale, lay. Nice and cozy on your pillows. Let your eyelids soften again. Check in with your breath again. Let your next inhale be really easy. And let your next exhale be smooth and slow. And watch what's happening in your mind. Is your mind busy? Is your mind clear? And take 5 more really smooth breaths in this twist. One more deep breath. And then nice and slow, start to walk your hands back underneath your shoulders and lift your chest back up. You can move your pillows off to the side and make your way to lying on your back. And if there's anything that your body is still longing for, you're welcome to take the next minute or so to do any movement or stretch that you need in order to feel complete in your practice today. And then when you feel complete, you're welcome to lie in your final Shavasana. And sometimes it's nice to put a pillow underneath the knees. Sometimes it's nice to put a pillow behind the head. If it's cold where you are, you can cover yourself with a blanket. We'll spend the next several minutes lying comfortably in your final Shavasana. If your lower back is arched, you can tuck your tailbone a little bit. If the front of your chest feels closed, scoot your shoulder blades a little closer together behind your back. And close your eyes. Slowly start to deepen your breath again. And start to wiggle your fingers and your toes, gently reawakening your body. You can stretch your arms up above your head. Take a nice deep breath. Walk your feet in and roll onto one side. And make your way up to a comfortable seat. And once you're sitting comfortably, let your shoulders relax away from your ears. Let your jaw drop again. Let your eyes close. Take a nice deep breath. And take a moment to really genuinely thank yourself for choosing to be here, for choosing to take care of yourself, for wishing yourself well. And I acknowledge you for making all of those choices. And then set an intention for how you want to walk off of your mat today and enter the rest of your day. And imagine what way of being can make the rest of this day awesome. And we'll complete our practice with a breath together. Let your palms touch in front of your heart and exhale. Take a really nice, easy inhale. And exhale out of your mouth. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me today.